Hello, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
It is Wednesday.
It is
I had to
Wednesday.
think about it for a
Yeah,
second.
exactly.
It is Wednesday.
It's not Friday yet, but
It's 2 days from Friday. It's close enough. It's always, and it's not always 2 days from Friday. It's always a few days from Friday. That's the good news. Well, listen, it's day 2 of our discussion this week, all about summer adventures. So we've been talking about already just like where to get out and go and why, and get some freedom for your life and for yourself. And then yesterday we were also talking about like summer adventure doesn't have to be like a big trip. It could just be a new change in your life. It could be getting in the kitchen and doing some new things. Hey, good morning, Annie.
Good morning, Annie.
Beautiful souls. So, I want to know from you guys, since yesterday, what have you been thinking about? Has it stirred in you anything where you're like, what's something new I could do? Are you jumping into our private Facebook group's 7-day challenge? Is that something you're doing? Are you in there, doing the workouts, getting the new recipes? We've got all of these free resources for you in there, and we're doing the challenge along with you. So that's been really fun. But we've been going live and encouraging you guys. I encourage you to jump in and do that. That's something new you could be doing. You could be taking your family on a trip. You could be going camping. You could be going to some events. People are getting out now. We went to a car show for the 4th of July, and I was like, thank God. Like, I haven't been to a car show.
Seems like forever, right?
Well, I mean, at least a year and a half, because everybody's been tied down.
But it's been nice to get out. So that's kind of an adventure itself. But look,
it's an adventure to the mailbox.
We've been doing this 7-day challenge too. And it's been challenging for us, and even with our schedule and trying to make sure we fit it in, but we're fitting it in.
Yeah.
And that's been an adventure for us too. Yep. Even though it's not something new to us, it is something new of adjusting our schedule, making it happen. And
we're usually doing it in the morning.
really getting off that routine that we kind of fell into after being sick, and and then one thing after another. Look, there's a lot of excuses that we give we could tell each other, right?
Yeah.
That why we don't do this, why we don't do that, why we need to staying busy on other things that aren't feeding our health, that aren't really helping our life moving forward.
Right, exactly.
But so we stop making those excuses, right? Start making a way to make all these good things happen, making a way to make, we have goals and we have dreams also. So
I don't want this to get in the way,
Right.
Well, first things first, I kind of skipped it. I skipped ahead because I'm so excited. Hey, good morning, Alonza. What's up, girl?
Good morning.
So I wanted to make sure you guys are aware of the links that you need to be aware of. So let's jump into that. So if you are watching from our private Facebook support group, you're going to see a StreamYard link. That's just simply because it's a private Facebook group. Facebook makes us have an extra link in there if we're using this software to stream in. And so you have to click that link just to make sure we can see your name when you are commenting. It's just during the live broadcast. That's the only time this matters. And just make sure you're clicking that. And that's only if you're watching from our private Facebook group. If you're watching from anywhere, and we're broadcasting on YouTube, Facebook, and several places on Facebook. If you're watching from anywhere else besides our Facebook group, make sure that you're clicking that YouVersion Bible app link that's there. That is the text that we're using to structure our discussion around this week. And that way you can go in. And by the way, part of the reason why I put these links in isn't just so that you can follow along on the one that we're on. There are thousands of other devotionals and things that we would never do necessarily here because they're so specific. Like there's ones for recovery, there's ones for forgiveness, trauma, marriage, parenting, business, career, everything. I mean, pick a subject, and there's a devotional study or some sort of a small, just uplifting study on that, and it gives you some insight into your life. There's anywhere from 3 days to a year. I mean, you could do the Bible in a year devotional.
Right. So, and if you identify with a particular character in the Bible, there are certain characters that we identify ourselves with, but you want to find out a little bit more about that person and how they lived, and rather than a few scriptures here and there, you could go into your own study.
Yeah.
And maybe even invite a few friends of your own into that study.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Hey, Sharon's here watching in our group. What's up?
I wonder if talk about adventure.
Oh no, it's not Sharon. Different Sharon.
Oh, different Sharon.
The other Sharon's in the UK right now,
Okay.
but she's on an adventure for sure.
You need to be specific.
Sorry, I just read it.
Or Pacific.
Or don't say that, please. Be Pacific.
I
be
knew
the
that.
Ocean.
I knew that was.
I know you're just like boink, boink, boink. But anyway, what he was talking about in the Bible app, this is the cool thing is I actually do want to spend a couple minutes on telling you this because this is really fun. So we don't do this as a large group just because I would have to there would be a lot of organization going on here. But one of the things you can do in there is you can do devotionals with your friends. So if you have like a couple, like 2 or 3 friends or 20, whatever, you can put a study together where it's like however many days. So a lot of people do this like during the holidays or like a Christmas devotional or whatever study. And there's ones for all year long though. And you can get your friends in there. It says add friends. And then if they're on the app, you guys can all do it together. And there's places to comment at the end of each day. So you could be having a discussion right on the app about what you're reading. So it's a great little like Bible study tool to do with your friends. And you could do like, there's all kinds of fun little subjects and topics and devotionals that people are writing all the time. And there's always new content. So it's a really fun app. It's really easy to use. And it's definitely something that I enjoy having in my pocket so that I always have that available to me wherever I go. And yeah, it's just fun. And I always want to make sure you guys have the right resources available to you that are easy and convenient. And that's part of the reason why we use this to structure our discussions around.
Yeah. So if you are new to our broadcast though, and you don't know us, what is these two doing every morning? Well, first of all, my name is Javie. This is my wife.
I'm Jessica.
And we are with the Underdog Ninja Foundation. Here at the Underdog Ninja Foundation, we stand on 3 things. That is faith, character, and action when it comes to fighting heart disease. Okay. Those are the things that we find that are the most relevant. Those are the pillars and the standards that we stick to when it comes to this battle against heart disease. Mm-hmm. Again, you don't know me, and you probably don't know that I've been fighting heart disease for over a decade, for 18 years now, 18 plus years. And this is what I've found. And so every Tuesday through Saturday, we start from building that foundation, that faith piece. And so how do we do that? We do that by sharing a devotional with you. However, not just giving you a scripture and sending you on your way. We look up scripture through this Bible app that we feel are relevant to the fight, the things that we go through. Look, we're fighting this deadly disease, but life is still going on, and we still have responsibilities. We still have things that we have to face, and this is an overwhelming thing in our life. This is life or death for us. It's at our front door, and with everything going on, we find ourselves getting stuck. And we find ourselves having difficulty dealing with everyday things. And what we believe and what God has shown me in my life through this fight, that there's still hope. There's a way out. There's a way to still navigate all these waters. And so what we do during Tuesday through Saturday mornings, we have these discussions that we think are relevant to our lives during this fight. And now look, we also invite our group. We go live in our group, and our group is consisting of people that are fighting heart disease, but they're also fighting other things. They're also fighting it's not just heart disease. They're fighting other diseases, or they're fighting some maybe some depression or certain points in their life that they find themselves stuck, and they want to gain ground. They don't want to be there. They want to find hope again. So we go live there too and have this discussion, and we go back and forth. We invite you to have these discussions with us because we want to know, what are you struggling with? And we bring God's word forward. We have this discussion, and it's been an amazing thing to see how God has been changing lives through just having these discussions,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And you're right. I mean, this is something that this isn't just for heart disease. I mean, keep in mind, this is something that we broadcast into our nonprofit's YouTube channel. So we talk a lot about our nonprofit on these devotional discussions. Okay. But we aren't coaches just for heart disease. Our group and our programs and things are for people fighting all kinds of things. So this is relevant to everybody. Okay. But that's just something that we like to introduce our foundation on here and let you guys know about it, that our foundation is specifically for heart disease, but what we do isn't. It's not necessarily just for heart disease. This is beneficial for everybody.
Mhm.
So that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. All right. So, are you ready?
I'm ready to jump in. Let's do it. Okay, so day 2 says, my greatest regrets don't come from failure. They come from dreaming about the epic and settling for the trivial. For years, I dreamt about an epic summer adventure with my family, an open road, my wife in the passenger seat of our VW van, bare feet on the dash, wind blowing brown hair over amber sunglasses, and my boys playing a road game in the back that inevitably ends with punching. Our dog in her usual place between us. I don't know where we're going, but it doesn't matter. It's the life that we've been given. It's music and wind and wild prairie grass. So summers went by and the music faded, and I traded the dream for a pay raise. I drove a fancy car on crowded freeways and bought lots of stuff, and my boys fought about who had to pick it up off the floor. There is freedom and there is bondage, and there is not much in between. The antidote to a life limited to the size of a handheld device is to point ourselves to something bigger. The mountains were as big as I remembered, and the only change was in the longings. I longed for life to be big again, for my boys to experience a father who climbed mountains and forded rivers and faced the wind in front of him. I feared my life was shrinking. We now have the whole world in our hands, and we can access it at our leisure. We are shaped by what we commit ourselves to. We can look up and be shaped by mountains and sunsets, or we can look down and be shaped by devices and yet another selfie. I longed for my boys to be shaped by all the wild that remains. I stood at the edge of the wilderness and looked up. The difference between the epic life and the trivial is a small commitment, not to scale a mountain, but to circle some dates on a calendar and hold them sacred. You have very few summers with your children. Chances are a lot of them are already gone. So go circle a week or a long weekend. Fight every obstacle that comes to attack those dates. Fight as if it were the souls of your children. For when you go on this adventure, your children will experience the Almighty. Remember, always, this is what you're fighting for. So, adventure action steps. So today, secure dates to go camping or another adventure. Mark them on your calendar. If you're taking children, make sure they have the dates available too, and check with their mom or their school or their anyone. I want to go over the verses, and then I want to talk about these action steps. So John 10:10 says, the thief's purpose is to steal and kill and destroy. My purpose is to give them a rich and satisfying life. Psalms 37:4-6. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you your heart's desires. Commit everything you do to the Lord. Trust him, and he will help you. He will make your innocence radiate like the dawn, and the justice of your cause will shine like the noonday sun. Matthew 6:34 says, don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for today. Yeah, it is. Okay, so real quick, I wanted to go back to these action steps. So I realize we're talking about everybody having different adventures. I mean, if you're in cardiac rehab right now, you're not going on an epic adventure, but your adventure might be, what is the best possible outcome for me in this? What would be amazing at the end of cardiac rehab? What would be just an absolute victory? And you go on the adventure of finding out what you're capable of. What do you want on the other side of this?
Right.
Let it be the next adventure that you're on. It may sound silly, but that's how we tackle these challenges as adventures. I tell you, the other day, he was like, there's all kinds of things that happen in our life as a married couple. And there's so many things that have been absolutely just unexpected. And, he's like, oh, I'm sorry this happened. And I'm sorry we had to deal with this. And I'm like, our whole life's been an adventure, babe. It's been great. I signed up. We talked about when we first got married, I talked about signing up for some adventures with him. And And it's been absolutely an adventure. And some of that adventure, though, has been being in the hospital, has been navigating stuff that most people break under, has been navigating things that the Lord is teaching us something. And we have to be humble and accept that and move forward with a different plan.
Right.
It's been pivoting. It's been moving across country twice.
Right. And some of our adventure has been, like I mentioned in yesterday afternoon's live, was maybe your adventure is in the kitchen, learning how
Yes.
to cook again. That's what we experienced. We both had to learn to cook again, and we had to learn to cook again with each other. For a while there, you took the mantle and you started cooking for the family, and
Yeah.
you took that responsibility. But now, especially the last 6 months, I've been diving into figuring out how to cook again. I used to cook a lot
Yeah.
before we switched to our plant-based eating. But I just, for whatever reason, I just didn't know how other than make it a salad. So, but I've been learning more and more and trying to do more and more. But so that's been an adventure,
Yeah, for sure.
right? Learning to put new recipes together, and what works here and what doesn't work. And that's been fun and sometimes a mistake, but it's all been good. But I really want to go back to what they're saying here in today's devotional, where they're talking about circling that date,
Yeah.
making it
And protecting
and
that.
protecting it, put it as a priority. So much so that it's like someone's threatening to damage your children's soul.
Right.
Today, I got to be honest, this hits me really hard, because I've said before that you and I are workaholics.
Yeah, we work a
And
lot.
we will fit, if there is a gap in our schedule, we'll fill it with more work. And this is something that you and I have had to really battle.
Yeah.
Because our kids are growing up. And, that was the whole purpose of last week, of us taking time off. And believe me, there are a lot of things that came along that tried to fill that date, fill on that date on that schedule. And we're like, no, we're getting away.
Yeah.
And here it's summertime and we don't have the excuse of COVID anymore.
Yeah, exactly. The excuse of COVID. I
Right.
love that, because it was like, well, we can't go anywhere. We can't go anywhere anyway. So let's just be productive. Let's just work. The thing is, I like what it's talking about too. Maybe you don't have young kids anymore. Or you don't have kids at all, or, that's not your focus. I want you to make sure you're still motivated by this, though, because look, why are we just treating our kids as something sacred and not ourselves? So keep in mind that as you would treat your children's souls with importance and priority, we should be treating ourselves as well, because we can't really pour from an empty cup. We've talked about that lots of times. You've heard that everywhere, self-care, right? But think about this. What if it's time to reconnect with God? What if it's time to reconnect and unplug and things like that? What is it that you want to get out of your adventure, right? You got to shift the environment. You got to shift the perspective. So one of the things, I just want to caution you is to not bypass this opportunity to do something new for yourself, and to be brave and to have courage and step outside of your comfort zone, whether that's stepping outside your house or stepping outside your routine or stepping outside your perspective and your thought processes, the way you view life, stepping outside of, your friend circle that you have and finding a new support system, whatever the case may be, you can meet the Almighty there.
Right.
You can meet him on your adventure, because when we need to look to him, we need to look up. Like I said, I found myself looking up when it's a new adventure. It's something new.
You know,
So it's not just our kids.
right. Well, you said something just a second ago where you're talking about people that maybe are in currently they're in cardiac rehab, or some sort of rehab, and
Or just recovery from surgery or
exactly, and so your physical abilities aren't allowing you to get out like you want to, but there are other things that you can do that help not only lower your stress but to give you that quiet time with God, but at the same time getting out and doing something new, seeing His beauty, seeing His creation. You know, yesterday I was mentioning how long it's been since I've been fishing. I remember getting up early and super early and getting out on the lake and, you know, casting the casting a line, on that lake and not catching a thing, but I had a blast, you know, because I got to just listen to the quietness of everything God created around me. The water, the the birds, all the wildlife, feeling the wind, maybe even feeling the chill in the morning, and
oh
then
yeah, I
feeling
love
the
that.
sun as it heats up. All those things and just taking in all that. And believe me, when you have been this disease has been thrusted upon you, and you've been having to really contemplate where are you in life, and taking a moment and just listening to what God has and looking around what God has created and how powerful He is and how loving He is. You start understanding His character, and then He starts to speak right into your moment, wherever you're at, whatever you're struggling with, um, by just simply going out and doing something fun, new adventure, or maybe doing something that you haven't done in a long time, but getting out there and just doing it and being alone, or maybe not even alone, just some quiet time. Uh, so it doesn't have to be, going out and hiking a mountain, or running a marathon. Maybe you're not in the condition right now that you could handle that, but what can you do?
Go to the beach, put your feet in the
Right.
sand.
Maybe it's reconciling with that friend or neighbor and having some coffee or tea on your front porch, and just having a nice discussion with that person. Someone maybe that you haven't, a relative or something that you haven't seen in a long time, and just talking and opening up. These are simple things that you could be
Yeah.
doing. Maybe it's taking up gardening. That you don't have to go anywhere. It's right there.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a lot to be said about gardening. There is a man, I'm telling you, there is um you could really experience a spiritual awakening just by gardening,
It's true. It's
right?
true.
And
Maybe you
letting God
take
talk to you.
exactly. Maybe you take, a walk every day and just contemplate, just be alone with God and he can give him a chance to talk to you, without being on a device or without being around other people. And
I'll go out in my garage and just reorganize my garage or tool around in the garage, and uh you know and that's my quiet place. That's my
yeah.
oftentimes my prayer closet. While I'm alone doing things, God is right there with me, helping me build something or helping
Yep.
me, just talking to me while I'm, you know, doing something that I like doing.
Well, and look, we've talked about all of the like traveling you could do. We talked about all of the, regular, like simple things you could do, but there's all kinds of things in adventure. I mean, take a bagpipes. I don't know. Take a foreign language class. Do something new that like
You know-
excites you. And it's just like, this is cool. I didn't think I could learn this. I didn't think I could do this. Take a cooking class, you know?
I really feel this new adventure I want to be on. And I think God really could speak to me there. I think, I really think it's really been on my mind to buy a muscle car lately.
Stop it.
If I buy a muscle car,
Is your
and-
adventure a hot rod?
yeah. And, and
It's been on your mind lately or the last 40 years.
Okay, but I think it's time.
Is it? It is time.
It's time.
It is time. So this has been really good. I absolutely love this because it's summer. It's always the right time. It's always a new season in our lives if we want it to be. And I think that we really get stuck in our routines and stop thinking about something new we could be doing, something new we could be seeing, something new we could be hearing from God, new things we could be saying. Anytime that God's done something new in my life, I'm just like, I'm in awe because it just feels so fresh and exciting and not like I'm stuck. And it's the time where I normally end up making a lot of other changes too, because I'm not in the everyday, same old. So that's what we're trying to help you do, is to find the freedom in an adventure, in something that, you have to have courage to step out and do. Or it's just maybe you don't have to have courage. Maybe it's just a vacation and you're just like, oh, it's an adventure. Let's go on an adventure. Let's do that. Let's get out of here. So I encourage you to do that. Comment below with the things that you're doing, with the things that you're thinking about doing, like what's been on your mind and you're just been putting it off. What's something that you've been wanting to do and you're just like, I don't know if I could do that. Maybe, there's a way for you to do it. Talk to this community because we're here to brainstorm with you. We're here to help you live your life with battling your health issues. These things take over our lives if we let them. And these things cannot define us. They cannot limit us. They cannot take over our lives. I know that there are limits in place because of obvious reasons. I mean, there has to be things we can't do. However, we can't let it limit us more than it needs to. Okay. It needs to be something that is part of our life, but it is not our life. And it is not the thing that dictates to us. Okay. It doesn't have to be. So that's what we want to talk about this week. We're loving this because it's been so nice outside and we've been really like, we need to go hiking more. I haven't been camping in like, I don't know, 20 years.
Yeah.
And I grew up camping.
So the picture on the cover of the book got me thinking about that. We live in the Northwest. What are we doing?
Oh, I know. Well, and it's strictly because we just haven't bought the equipment. I mean, that's the only reason.
Right.
So it is time.
I'm scared of bears.
I'm scared of bears. I'm scared of bears. Maybe there
are a lot of bears.
Maybe they're scared of you. Have you thought about that? You can be pretty terrifying.
I look like a baby cub.
Well, maybe they're going to run after you. So they're so protective. They're like, we missed one. Look at him run. Oh, get him.
That's not the kind of bear hug I want.
All right, guys. We hope that this was really, really, really good for you. I know that this is kind of light this week, but you know what? Look, this is the thing, is that sometimes it doesn't have to be heavy. We don't have to think about the heavy stuff all the time. Let's live our lives. Let's move forward. Let's do the things we want to do. You know what I'm saying? So if this was something that really filled you up today and got you inspired to do something with your life, jump into that 7-day challenge we're doing in our group. You know what I mean? There's things that we're putting in there where you could change it up, do something new, get moving, get your body going and circulation moving.
Right. And look, if you got something out of today, if you're getting something out of this week, please hit like and share this with your friends or family. If this is making sense to you, okay, we'd love to hear from you. What is it that you're doing this summer? What is it that really maybe God is speaking to you to do? Okay, share that with us. Share this in the group. If you're part of our group, we would love to see the things that you're doing, the new things that you're adding to your life. We would love to see that.
Absolutely. If you're watching from our YouTube channel for our nonprofit, make sure you hit subscribe and support that mission there. We absolutely appreciate your connecting with us there. And if you want to be notified, hitting that subscribe button will do that for any time we post new content.
All right, guys, you have a wonderful day and we'll see you later.
See you later.